up to chapter 49, verse 8. I'm going to read the pasuk. Yehuda. So now we're up to the brachot, the blessings that Jacob gives Judah. Yehuda, ata yoducha achecha yadcha ba'oref oivecha. Judah, now your brothers shall yoducha achecha. So your brothers will acknowledge you. Your hand will be on the neck of your enemy. The children of your father will bow down to you. So what does this mean? We're looking at the blessings of Judah. Up until now, the other brothers were rebuked by Jacob. Reuven was rebuked because Reuven slept with Jacob's concubine. Shimon and Levi were rebuked because Shimon and Levi, Jacob said, were the ones who sold Joseph into being a slave. So now, what has Judah done? So Judah was getting nervous. But now we're being told, Yehuda, atal yoducha achecha. Judah, your brothers will acknowledge you. So Rashi tells us, since Jacob rebuked the older brothers, King Torim with harsh terms, Judah was beginning to back away. Because he didn't want Jacob to rebuke him because of Tamar. What happened with Tamar? Do you remember this story? The story with
she was the one that was like given away or something like
Tamar was Tamar, right? Very good.
Traded or something.
Tamar was Jacob had told Judah Tamar was married to Judah's son, and then his first two sons died, and then Judah didn't want to give her his third son in marriage, and so she dressed up like a harlot and impregnated herself from Judah. So Judah was very embarrassed, but he said, I was the father. So that's the chapter 38. So Judah thought he was going to be rebuked by Jacob for this. Ukaro Yaakov. So Jacob called him b'divrei ritzoi, with conciliatory words. He said, Yehuda lo ata kamosam. Judah, you're not like them. Why not? Because Judah admitted his mistake, unlike Reuven, Shimon, and Levi, who never admitted their mistake. Hello, Reb David. I'm going to so basically that's the hello, Reb David. So there's a pretzel. Help yourself to some pretzels. They're so good. So that's what Judah was rebuked for. We're studying why is Judah rebuked. By the way, I wrote a letter to David is going to bring to the prisoners this I don't know, next time he sees them. And in the letter, I said to the prisoners that what I said was, let me just read it to you because David's here. Hold on, give me 1 second. Nobody go anywhere.
While the rabbi is doing that, I'll tell you a story.
Okay.
So today I got a call from a prisoner. And I have naps, so I sent 30 prisoners pictures of hostages and asked them to pray for them. Some of them put them on their cell doors.
Yeah.
And I asked them, have they ever been torn down? They said, no, they've never been torn down. I said, they've never been torn down? He said, have you seen Larry? So Larry is this guy who's like 6'2" of total muscle. And if they tore down any of the signs, they'd have to deal with Larry.
I'm gonna record you saying that afterwards, Dave. I'm gonna put that on the TikTok. That's going to be a very thing. So basically, this is what I wrote to David. David goes and visits the prisons. I wrote, this week our yeshiva received a very special gift of charity from someone in prison. When one is in prison, it's hard to feel empowered. But when one gives charity to tzedakah, then one is empowered. Basically, when you're in prison, they strip all power from you. But then when you give charity, when you give charity, you're empowered. Now, the person who's in prison becomes a hero, a giver, a contributor. So all you have to do to move from being in prison to being empowered is to become a giver. I want to encourage everyone to give tzedakah every day. A penny is certainly a great start. They make 27 cents an hour. By giving tzedakah, you'll be free even when you live behind bars. So that's the blessings. And then I wrote a thank you note to the person who was in prison, who gave us $10 as a charitable gift, which how many hours do you have to work for that? Basically, that's 3 hours. Well, how many?
30 hours.
40 hours, so that's an entire week's salary. So basically gave an entire week's salary. Okay, so the verse says, we're going to continue with the verse, your hand will be on the neck of your enemies, be made David. And this was fulfilled in the days of David, as it says, Rovai Tetali Oref, you have given my enemies by the neck. B'nai Avicha, your father's sons, will bow down to you. What does that mean? Al Shem Shayu Minashim Arbe, because there were many wives. He didn't say your mother's sons, like he said, like Isaac said, but he said your father's sons, because his father had many more sons than just if he had said your mother's sons. Hello, Mordechai, how are you doing? Good. Hello, Aviva, good to see you guys. All right, so now the verse says, the next verse, it says, Gur Aryeh Yehuda, a lion cub of Judah, Miteref B'ni Alisa. From Teref is a torn apart animal. From a torn apart animal, my son, you ascended. Kara Ravatz Karyeh. He bent down, he crouched like a lion. Ukuavi mi kumenu. And like a older lion, who dares rouse him? Okay, so that's the verse. Yeah. So okay, let's see what's going on. It says Gur Aryeh. So this is, like I said, a very difficult verse. We're chapter 49, verse 9. It says, Gur Aryeh Yehuda, Judah, a lion cub, al David nitnaba. So this is a prophecy about King David. David started off as a cub, B'tchila Gur. Have you heard the name Gur? It means a cub. So David started off as a cub. B'yot Shaul melech aleinu, when Saul was the king. Israel. David was the cub who was leading the children of Israel into battle. But in the end, he became a lion. When they made him their king. There will be basically that Uncle says Shaltonye Bishirya B'tchilato. So basically, David started off as a cub, but he became a lion. That's our job in life. Kobe, we start off as cubs, but we become lions. Yeah. Are you a lion? Are you a lion, Moshe?
Hopefully.
God willing. The next verse says, Miteref, from prey. What does that mean that you rose up? This is so powerful. From prey, my son, you ascended. What does that mean? This is so powerful. Listen to this. This is how Rashi understands this. You could tell this to your flock this next to your meeting. What does it mean Judah rose up from prey? I suspected you. I said Judah has surely been torn to bits. An evil beast has devoured him. And Jacob said, I thought Judah devoured him, who was compared to a lion. So basically, Jacob, what Rashi is saying here is that Jacob initially suspected Judah of having killed Joseph. And Rashi says that you rose up above that. You rose up above the suspicion of you. Jacob thought that Judah had done something that he hadn't done. Even though Judah had done something wrong, Jacob is saying now, you arose over that which I had accused you. I accused you of killing him, but really you didn't kill him. So that's why this is Judah. Who is the king of Israel? You have to realize this. The king, the one who is the future king, is somebody who was attacked. He was accused. He was suspected of doing something much worse than he did. And now it says, the next verse says, my son, you ascended. What does that mean? You withdrew yourself from from your brothers, and you say, what gain do we get if we kill our brother? Also, you withdrew from the killing of Tamar, Shodah. So Rashi is saying, why was Judah selected to be the future king of Israel? Because he came to a moment where he was challenged. Would he be able to overcome these moments of challenge? And he withdrew and overcame it. When he was challenged by the other brothers, let's kill Joseph, he withdrew and said, what do we gain by killing him? He was challenged. He was saying, let's kill Tamar. And he said, you know what? I was wrong. He revisited it. He said, Sadkami many. Therefore, because you withdrew and you ascended, therefore, Kararavatz. Therefore, he crouched and lay down in the time of Solomon, when it says they all lived, Ish Tachat Kfano. Therefore, in the time of Solomon, each man lived with security. And Solomon was a descendant of Judah. Says the verse. Okay, next verse. Okay, this is a very, very complicated, very, very complicated. I'm just telling you, these are very, very complicated verses now. A lot of this is one of the most polemical verses in the whole Torah. Lo yasur sheva mi Yehuda. The staff will not leave Judah. Umechokek mi bein raglav. And the scepter from between his legs. Ad ki yavo Shiloh. Until Shiloh arrives, v'lo yikatamim, and his will be an assemblage of nations. So does this mean that it will never depart, that Judah will always be the king, or only he'll be king only until Shiloh? So very, very, because the basic question is, will the kingship always come from Judah, or will it eventually depart? So that's why it says, so that's why Rashi says the staff will not depart from Judah. Once David becomes king, then the kings will always come from David. But up until then, the king cannot come from David. Who was the first king of Israel? Who was the first king? Who was the first king? Saul. Saul was from the tribe of Benjamin. So how could it mean the staff will not depart from Judah? So Rashi is saying, once the first king of Judah ascends to the throne, then the scepter will never depart. And what is that referring to? These are referring to the princes of Babylon, Sherodim et Am B'Shevet, that they push the people by the rod, because they are appointed by the royal authority. You had a question, David? So basically, the exarchs in Babylonia are pushing the people by the rod.
Beinassia kind of thing?
What'd you say? Say this again.
Beinassia, like what the Talmud always talks about.
Yeah, it's called the Reish Garuta, but they have the ability to enforce. How did you enforce? You enforce with the stick, with the staff. Now, they have to have that authority. Sometimes you have no choice. Listen, it's always the last resort, but if you're a government, you need to have authority, or else you can't do it. I mean, it's like Israel now is fighting a war. That's the last thing that anybody should ever want to do, to turn our boys into soldiers, but we sometimes have no choice. Not just our boys, by the way. I don't want to besmirch the incredible dedication of the many, many women soldiers, and also men, grandfathers who are fighting, but overwhelmingly they're boys. And will not remove the scepter from between his feet. This refers to students, Talmidim, Elu Nisiyei Eretz Yisrael. These are the princes, meaning to say that the rabbis, the teachers will come from Judah. Ad ki yavo Shiloh, until Shiloh arrives. So who is Shiloh? This is very, very important. Everybody needs to remember this. Shiloh is another name for the Mashiach. So Shamucha Shalom, that Judah will be the ruler until the time of the Messiah. The Messiah will come from the house of David. Midrash Agada Shiloh. It's a gift to him. Yovilu Shiloh Mora. Does anybody know anybody named Shiloh?
Shiloh, yeah.
You know somebody named Shiloh?
Yeah.
There's a Shiloh in Berman.
Is Shiloh?
In Berman, yeah. Well, I don't know if he's still there.
I don't know. I know it's some guy from Gamil.
Israeli named Shiloh. So basically it's messianic. Shiloh means the gift to him, and it's the Mashiach. So that's what the name means. Has anybody here ever been to the town of Shiloh? We've been there together. A beautiful town in the Shomron. Yeah.
There's
My
also
father,
one in Utah.
in where? In Utah?
Yeah.
I haven't been to that one. I'm sure there's actually probably, I'm pretty sure if somebody did a Google search now, there are probably 30 towns in America named Shiloh. That'd be my guess. At least 30 towns. A lot of towns took biblical names. They want to take biblical names. Okay, so now the lo yukata mim, his will be an assemblance of nations. So, well, we're going to skip this Rashi. Because it's all grammatical. Now we have the next verse. Osri la gefen iro. He ties to the grapevine his he donkey. What does that mean? We have to see what that means. Vila soreka, and to the branch, biniatono, his she donkey's foal. What does that mean? Kibes bayayin levusho. He dresses his clothing in wine. He launders his clothing in wine. Uvedam anavim suto, and his robe in the blood of grapes. What is going on here? What does it mean? Do you see? This is, I said, is very difficult. He binds to the grapevine his he donkey, and to the branch his she donkey's offspring. What does that mean? Let's see what Rashi says. Rashi says, this is a prophecy about the land of Judah. That will be drawing forth wine. Kima'ayan, like from a spring. Ish Yehuda, Yasor legefen, Ayer Achad, V'yeta'enu migefen Achat, U'misorek Achad ben Aton Achad. Basically saying you're going to be so filled with grapevines that you're going to tie one of your donkeys to a grapevine, and you're going to load it up from one vine, and then from one vine branch, you're going to load up a she donkey. So basically, you're going to have to use the donkeys to load up your grapevines. And then you're going to launder your clothing in wine. Can you imagine how is that actually cleaning your clothing? Using wine as a detergent. It's going to be so cheap, basically.
That's it.
But Rashi says it means, Rashi seems to explain it differently. Rashi says, what does it mean? Rashi says it doesn't mean literally you're going to be actually using wine as your detergent, because that doesn't really make so much sense. Because last time I checked, we don't use wine as detergent. So Rashi's saying it means an abundance of wine. That's what it means. It means you'll have a lot of wine and you have a long branch. Yes, Jerry, please, Jerry.
Yes, the symbol of Israel today is two men supporting a huge grapevines,
Right,
and not what the Rashi says about a donkey doing this.
right. Well, that symbol, Jerry,
Ministry
that
of
symbol,
Tourism.
yeah, that symbol comes from the story of the spies, where they carried the grapevines out back to Moshe. So that's where that symbol comes from. You okay there, Jerry?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Jerry's, we're so honored that you come on, Jerry. Thank you for your questions. Oh, as always, amazing questions. Okay. Suto, he washes his robe in grapes. Rashi says, Suto is a type of garment. There's no other word like this in the Bible. So basically, how do we know what it means then? The word suto, it's what's called, we say a word when it appears only once in the entire canon. It's a Latin word called hapax legomenon. It means it's the only time it appears. It's a hapax legomenon. So basically, this is, hello, Jeffrey. Hope you enjoyed the soup today.
I will, I always do.
Okay. Apax legomenon. So this is the only time the word appears. So if it's the only time the word appears, how do we know what it is? It doesn't tell us how we know.
The first
What?
half of the verse is levusha.
Right. So he uses it by parallel, by what's called parallelism, by saying it must be like the word garments. Like, so therefore, with the blood of grapes, his robe, he washes his robe in the blood of grapes. But how does Rabbi Steinsaltz translate it? Anybody want to tell us? No, not, but what is it? What does he wash in the blood of grapes? Does he say robe?
His clothes.
His clothes. So he's a little less specific. Rabbi Steinsaltz a little bit more careful there. Okay. Osri la gefen, Rashi tells us Osri means he ties. V'unklus, fair game. And unklus gives a whole different explanation. All right, what is the explanation of unklus? It's as follows. The explanation of unklus is b'melech HaMashiach, that this whole verse refers to the Messiah. Geffen, the vine, is a reference to Israel. Iro is a reference to Yerushalayim. So Reka is a reference to Israel. Geffen, he also, so basically saying that the King Mashiach, the vine, is in Israel. And another possibility is that the word Geffen refers to the tzaddikim. Excuse me, B'ni Atono refers to the Avdei Oraita Ba'opan, those who study Torah. His she-donkey's foal. It refers to those who study Torah. He launders his garment in wine. This is a reference to what is that? Yehei argavan tavu vochmi. His garments be of fine purple cloth, whose color resembles wine. Color things. Oh, so Unkla says it's a garment. Shaishalovshtan. This is what a woman wears. Umisita behenet zachar. So Unkla says it comes from the word to entice. A woman uses these very special clothing to entice the male, retain enava, to set her eyes upon her. And the rabbis in the Talmud say, Lashon hasatat shechrus, an expression of enticement of drunkenness, valayayin, about wine. Unless you say, Eino marveh, it doesn't intoxicate, the verse says suto, means intoxicating. So we have a lot of different explanations of these words because it's poetry. This is the poetry of the Torah, so we're not sure what these words mean. So that's the concept here. Okay. So then we'll do one last verse, then we'll daven mincha. Then we'll finish. This is basically finishing the blessing of Yehuda. Hold on 1 second. Oh, right. Okay, what is it going on here? The last verse states as follows: Chaklili einayim miyayin, uleven shinayim mechelav. Your eyes are red from wine, and ben shinayim, your teeth are whiter than milk. Who knows? We'll see what Rashi says. Chaklili, Rashi says lashon odem. It's an expression of redness. Hold on, jeez. An expression of redness. As it states, whose is the redness of eyes? This is the ways of those who drink wine. Their eyes become blood, and your teeth are white from milk. Rashi says, "Meirov chalav," from an abundance of milk. Sheyeh ba'artzo, for there will be in his land mireto, good pasture for the flocks of sheep. So therefore, that's going to cause milk. So he's going to be red-eyed from the wine, and it'll be white tooth from the milk. I guess they thought that drinking milk makes your teeth white. Unkos gives a different explanation that your eyes implies the mountains. From there, people look out far away. Or Einayim can mean springs, the outpourings of the wine presses. In Aramaic, it means. Okay, fine. We'll stop there. All right, let us daven mincha at this time. A big shkoyach to everybody. I know, I told you it's very difficult. I warned you, but you did great. Thank you. Shikoyach. Let's have a mincha.